Welcome back, my friends, to TFT Hyperroll with Artark, and today's video is about one of the more annoying builds that you can end up facing. No, it's not T-Hex. We will be coming back to that. This is a different one, and you'll see it as it comes by. But until then, graphic. You know the drill. Like, comment. Come on, you know exactly what to do. And now we're picking our portal. Targon was basically no portal, so that's what we end up with because it just flat out wasn't working. But let's go ahead and jump straight to the augments because that's where this is going to matter. So there are a few augments this season that if you see them, you probably are going to win your match because the builds that they produce just create unreasonable results, and Unstable Yordle Delivery is one of them. You're gonna get lots of Yordles, which means you're gonna have a pretty easy time 3-starring all of your Yordles, and then that will mean you get a 4-star Yordle, or 2 4-star Yordles most of the time with this particular augment. So my advice with this build is expect to lose early and just use your time to keep rolling for Yordles. Don't worry about what the rest of the build is going to be until later. It will become clear based on your items and what Yordles you're getting. In this case, I made that decision pretty early. I saw the Negatron Cloak. That is a fantastic item for KLED, Bloodthirster, because he can become very, very strong in this build, and I'm not really concerned about whether or not I'm going to get a 3-star because I have the portal. So essentially, if it's AP items, you're going for Teemo. If it's AD items, you're going for KLED. Tristana can work, but I would only do that if you're seeing a lot of gunners in the shop. Otherwise, I would stick with Teemo and KLED because they are generally stronger units. Obviously, all tank items go on Poppy. Once you've decided on your carry, you can start picking up the supporting cast. In this case, it's going to be additional Slayers since KLED is a Slayer. If it was Teemo, it would be the Multicasters and Strategists. My goal when I get this augment is to get to the full 5 Yordles. I don't like just stopping at 3, so I'm going to go for all 5 so I can get the 2 4-stars. One will be Poppy, that will be the super tank up front, and then it will be whichever my carry is, either Teemo KLED. And do not sweat the fact that you are going to lose a lot early. This isn't like Piltover where you're trying to force losses because they're beneficial. It's just a matter of the fact that Yordle as an augment on its own just isn't strong early. And in reality, I probably should have waited to make the decision of who the carry was, but since I had already done Teemo, I was kind of inclined to go for KLED, so I jumped on it when I got the Bloodthirster. Augment-wise, the return on investment, really, it's hard to turn down. I just like looking through everything anyway, but you're likely going to get a Tactician's Crown. Well, almost definitely going to get a Tactician's Crown, at least in Hyperroll, because you're going to be doing a lot of rolling. Luckily, there was an additional Teemo, so I could take care of that little bench problem and then put the Infinity Edge on KLED, so KLED is getting stronger. Got the gold 3-star Tristana just before the match started, so I put her in instead of the 1-star Kale, who's an additional Slayer, but a 3-star Tristana is going to be stronger, but it's really not going to matter. This augment is all about the power spike. Now, I got a little concerned at this point because I'm 1 Yordle away on KLED, 1 Yordle away on Poppy, but when I got into stage 6, it gave me gold instead of Yordles, which sometimes means it's out of Yordles. Luckily, my fears were quelled a little bit when I got a Poppy at the start of the next fight, then get the opportunity to 3-star the KLED, which is going to lead us to a 4-star Yordle. For some reason, it chose Poppy, and I will show you a little fix for that after, but you'll see once you get to the 4-star Yordles, the entire power structure of the match changes. Poppy is now just an unreasonable tank up front, which allows the rest of our team to take over. Now, back to the little bug. So it's supposed to choose your most powerful Yordle, which should be KLED, because KLED's a 2-star. They both have 3 items. But what you can do if the game ever does this to you is you can go ahead and just remove the Yordle that you want to be 4 stars from the board, put them back in, they will become 4 stars. Don't know why, it works. For the final augment, dare I say, it didn't really matter. Once you hit this point, you're pretty much done. KLED executes anything under 25% health, and with 4 Slayers, you're going to be getting some pretty easy executions. I decided to go with Library Card simply because I want the chance to get an additional Slayer emblem and potentially better items on the Slayers that we have. I'd like itemizing Gwen if possible, but didn't get anything fantastic there. And we'll get to the Tome of Traits in a moment, but now just watch as KLED does what KLED does. As things get low, they just vanish off the screen. KLED executes at 25%, so you're gonna win early. Going through the Tome of Traits, I decide I didn't get Slayer. Let's grab Demacia. That will give me 3 Demacians, so I'll be getting an additional item. Now watch what happens. There's Demacia sitting on my board. It's gone. It's just gone. It gave me a Heimer, so I'm bringing in Heimer. Now have 2 4-star Yordles. In reality, nothing else matters, but where's my Demacia emblem? Where did it go? I know I chose it. I saw it appear. Why did they take it away? And then the very cool person who's facing me pointed out like how gross this was in Hyper, and I had noticed that they had mentioned earlier that they had seen the augment and said it was rare, so I apologized for like kind of grossing them out because it is a high risk, high reward build. Once you hit it, you're probably going to win. Then, like magic, right after this round is over, the Demacia emblem reappears on my board. I give it to Zed. I should have given it to Gwen, but again, it kind of doesn't matter at this point. I'm more focused on the fact that it's just going to win, but Gwen should have been the one to get the additional Radiant item. Item-wise, I'm looking to get additional items for Gwen. You don't necessarily want to itemize other Yordles, because if you do, there's a chance that they become the 4-star Yordles. So, a couple of Hextech Gunblades for Gwen, and we're good to go. And even though it looks like they are nerfing Slayers a little bit, taking the Omnivamp from 15 down to 10, that's not going to impact a build like this at all, because you're not relying on the Omnivamp so much as just the increased damage that they get. And a shout out here to Guven, who said they were a fan of the channel and that actually watching the videos helped them get into this mode, so I'm really glad I could play a match with them. And again, sorry that you were subject to this, but once this build gets going, it's a little bit T-Hex-ish. And as you can imagine, after that round, we are now into the top 4, actually top 3, just based on how it worked out, and I end up with a 2-star Heimer. For the final 2 items, it doesn't really matter, but again, the one thing you want to be careful of is not putting them on Teemo or Tristana, because you could end up taking the 4-star status away from Poppy and KLED, which is what we were going for here. Similarly, if Teemo was your carry, you wouldn't want to put items on KLED to potentially take away the 4-star status from Teemo. Once we found an Aatrox, that's in. We now have 5 Yordles, 5 Slayers, and a Strategist just to add some additional shielding to the front 2 lines and AP to the back 2. And there's really only 2 possible ways to beat this build. A 100 plus health T-Hex has a really good chance, or a 3-star legendary would have a really good chance. Well, that would probably take care of it. The T-Hex would be a battle worth seeing because it could go either way, but as you can see, KLED just executes and leads the damage charts. And overall, this was one of the cooler lobbies I have been in this entire season. There were no hard feelings all the way around, Everyone was really nice about everything. It was a little surprising, as I've seen a lot of toxicity this season, more so than usual, I think because people don't get their portals. But this person, they knew what was going to happen. They stuck with it, let it play out, and we all just had a good time, and it really was GG for everyone. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you get that augment, take it. You're probably gonna win. And as always, have an absolutely awesome day.